This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
All right, well, welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
And we're kicking off some more of the summer series.
Yay.
You know how we love to bring everything you love to a crashing halt.
Yes.
And destroy it and take
Ruin
all
everything.
of the fun out of it and just ruin it for you.
Yeah, so
So
we do.
today we're discussing ATVs and
Dune buggies.
dune buggies. We're doing the dune buggies because somebody sent us an email about it.
Yes. Like last year.
Like 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
From California or something. That's
Yeah.
what, like the big thing to do out in Cali is apparently dune buggy.
Dune buggy.
We don't do that in
We
the
don't
East
dune
Coast.
buggy. We have our dunes are protected.
Yes, we have birds on them.
You can't even walk in them.
No.
No. Never mind riding a buggy.
Sand dunes by the Cape. Isn't that a song?
No, you just do like making love in the.
No, there's a song. It's an old timey 50s
Oh, well, Nicole,
song.
I don't know. I am way younger
well,
than
my
you.
mother stopped progressing after 1958. Like that was it. Like so, all the music in the car we listened to was from 1958. So it's like do 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 of old Cape Cod, and I can't think of the rest of the words to the song. Somebody listening is gonna know the fucking song I'm talking
If
about.
we have any listeners over the age of 70,
Yeah, I'm
please
telling
write in
you,
and let us know.
WGHB, ding ding, and it'd have the seagulls. My mother would never. Rock and roll did not exist in her mind.
Oh.
Like it was just trash. All of it was trash.
Oh.
Elvis was trash. Everybody was trash.
My mother thought she was going to marry Elvis. Literally
Oh,
thought
no.
she was going to
But
marry
your
Elvis.
mother's younger than my mother.
Yes, but she actually believed if she
My
met him.
mother would never admit to the weakness of finding a celebrity attractive
Oh.
because she's too good for that.
Oh.
Don't you know?
It was just your father.
Not even that. She was just, everything. She would never. She would never deign to be as common as have a crush on a celebrity. Like I have about a zillion.
Right.
I mean, I literally finally just watched the last James Bond.
Yes.
And I leaned over to my son, who could give a shit, and I was like, "Oh, he's still got it." And he's like, "Really, Mom?" I'm like, "Oh my God, he can still pull off that suit and that tux. Oh, look at him, he's still something." He's like, "Mom, Dad's
I
sitting
know.
right there." I'm like, "He knows.
I
He
take
knows.
this to him.
He knows he's like one of my hall passes."
What are you going to do?
All right, Daniel, I'm available if you want me.
Oh, I mean, not technically.
Not
but-
technically, and you have to pretend to be James Bond.
You
I
have to
don't
be
really want
dressed,
you as
but-
yourself. I mean, you have to show up in a Tom Ford suit. You have to kick ass, and you have to look really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about ATVs first.
Okay.
ATVs. All I remember about ATVs is my girlfriend in like 8th grade flipping one and busting up her
Ooh.
leg.
Ooh.
Yeah. All-terrain vehicles.
Yes.
Lots of fun to ride. Everybody wants to get on one. Total number of ATV accidents went up from 10,000 in 1982 to 15,000 by 2017. We're recording all of these episodes in one night, so if I constantly sound like I'm half dead,
Yeah.
it's because we did it all on the same
Yeah.
night. Part of the increase is due to an increase in people buying and using them.
Mm-hmm.
Fatalities have also increased
Of
from
course.
29 in 1982 to 766
Jesus!
in 2007. Between 1982 and 2009, there were about 10,281 deaths on ATVs
Yikes.
because they flip in a fucking second.
Well, and you're going over things like rocks and
Right.
tree roots, and
Well-
you're going through the woods, and
The bigger cause of death is not riding them where they're meant to be ridden.
yeah.
So more than 25% of the deaths and injuries were kids under the age of 16.
Oh, Jesus.
Most common injuries were among white males between the ages of 18 and 30.
I'm shocked by that.
Because you get a lot of people out there shit kicking, riding these things.
Mm-hmm.
80% of fatalities occurred due to the driver. In the United States, there are 19 states that have no laws regulating ATVs or requiring helmets.
Oh, God.
Flip.
Probably just north of us.
It's a million goddamn degrees in your basement.
I know.
22 states don't have, I don't know, a minimum age requirement to so you could be any fucking age on that. You can be 3 on an ATV.
My mother used to date a guy who had a house up in Maine, and we would go up there, and they had jet skis and wave ride. It was like so much fun. And we could just ride them. We were little, and like we could just go on them. And then a girl I went to school with had a house across the lake, so we would drive over there on like the jet skis, and they had ATVs, and we would go all through the woods around the lake, like on these ATVs. We were little kids.
Yeah. There's no.
My mother wouldn't let us have a fireball. She had a break
But she
with
let
a
you on
hammer.
an ATV with
But
a
we
helmet.
could be on
Yeah.
jet skis and ATVs. Like,
Jet skis are so much fun.
but they were so much fun. We had a blast on the ATVs. Like, we thought
And
we were
you
big
just don't
shots.
think of it. Like,
No.
that's why kids get hurt.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I'd be like, are you any goddamn buying like your
Right.
4-year-old on that thing?
Right.
But as a kid, you're like, this is great.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to literally ride his tractor around in Florida. And I thought it was the coolest shit because I was driving.
Right. You think you're driving. That's, yeah.
I was like 6. All right. So, one study shows the average age of ATV riders is 12.
Oof.
2011, more than 107,500 visits to the ERs from ATV accidents. Many accidents take place on roads or highways where they are not designed to be.
Yes.
Common causes of ATV accidents. They are designed for off-road. They got those big fucking tires with the big treads.
Yep.
They are meant to grip dirt, grip rock, grip
Mhm.
road. You put them on pavement, they're going to slide, skid, and flip,
Mhm.
which is what happens all the time. So they are designed for off-road use only and handle poorly on pavement.
Mhm.
So during driving on paved surfaces, which a lot of accidents are on, is very dangerous. Riding double on an ATV, it is not designed for passengers. There may be a 2-person ATV. That's the only time you ride double. Many people will scoot on the back and ride bitch, and you're not supposed to ride bitch on an ATV because then you fall off.
Yeah.
Most are designed for only one person. I love my riding. I really do. Letting inexperienced operators, I was like, voting? Why would I
Yes,
write voting?
on the ATV.
Letting inexperienced operators ride without an experienced riding partner.
Uh-huh.
Riding without adult supervision.
Uh-huh.
Performing dangerous stunts or maneuvers.
Oh, you always want to do the Papa Wheelie.
Oh, everybody's always doing something on this. Your eyes are getting puffy.
I'm
like,
dying.
it's ridiculous
I know.
all of a sudden.
dying.
Operating in unfamiliar areas or terrain. Failing to observe state laws or local ordinances. During first month of operating on an ATV, an inexperienced rider are 13 times more likely to have an accident than an experienced rider.
Oh my God.
Many ATV accidents result in... I thought it said Brian. No, I did write Brian. It's brain.
You got Brian on the brain.
Brian injuries. I don't know what Brian injuries are, but there's plenty of them. Brain and spinal cord injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Many riders have no helmets. ATVs have no roof or roll bars. It's like a motorcycle, so yeah, it's going to hit first.
Yep.
Spinal cord ATVs can weigh 500 to 600 pounds. If it flips onto you, it is going to give you a spinal cord injury.
Yes.
Internal injuries due to rollovers, which is very common with ATVs, especially when you're doing your stupid little tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And fractures from falls and rollovers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I gotta flip my page again. We're really organized tonight.
On the way home from your house yesterday, I'm sitting in traffic, like school traffic, and he has 2 assholes on motorcycles, like kids, and then an asshole behind them on an ATV in Lynn on the street.
Lynn, let me tell you what about
He
Lynn.
was driving a fucking ATV on the street in Lynn.
If you're not from this area, I can't even in words explain to you what Lynn is like. But tonight is the first night it's been hot in New England since last summer. So it's a hot night. And I have to drive through Lynn to come out to record at Laura's house. And I texted her and I said, it just, those summer nights in Lynn,
Oh,
there's
something else, man.
nothing. I mean, there's the man on the front porch with his screen door propped open so you can see his living room. And he takes his living room chair and puts it on the porch.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
The recliner. Yeah.
There's the meth mom with her little baby in a carriage walking around at, midnight in the middle of Lynn. There's random people in all stages of dress that you could possibly imagine, all starting to congregate. The Lynn Commons is a fucking free-for-all.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to drive there like 5 miles an hour because you never know when. It's like Frogger. You don't know who's going to pop in front of your car. And it could be at any time at night, 3 in the morning, that somebody's going to cross in front of your car.
Yeah.
Lynn.
So much fun.
Lynn is something. So am I surprised that an ATV was riding through Lynn?
Yes, an ATV in Lynn. I
No,
thought was
I'm
a
not
little
shocked
weird.
at all.
I know there's the
Woods
Lynn
right there.
Woods, but
Yeah.
I mean, these kids were not going in the woods.
Well, you don't know. Maybe they were going from Lynn Woods to Breakhot. Who knows?
They were not.
All right, well.
I'm telling you, these kids
You
do
can
not
see
congregate in the Lynn Woods.
Lynn is like a unicorn. You can see anything in Lynn.
Yeah. Oh
you
my
might
God.
even see a unicorn. All right, back to ATVs.
Anyways.
July 28th, 2019.
Uh-oh.
Brittany Langston, 29, is riding her ATV at night with 2 friends, 2 men. They had been riding on public roads, US 411, which is illegal. She hits a rock and flips her ATV and is thrown. She ends up in the hospital with a trach, is unable to communicate. She's not strong enough to write, and it could be months before she leaves the hospital. Just days after she's injured, a 14-year-old girl dies at the same area when her ATV flips and lands on top of her. There was another accident that same week when a 3-year-old was killed when his 14-year-old brother, who was driving, gets in an accident.
Oh, God.
And then there's Stephanie, August 11th, 2005. She is 12 years old. She's on a family vacation in Montana. She's on her own ATV. Her sister's on her ATV, and the parents are on their ATVs. She takes a turn on the ATV, hits a rock. The ATV throws her into a barbed wire fence.
Oh, God.
She's hit so hard, she bounces off the fence, lands, and jumps up. She's in shock.
Yeah.
She is bleeding from everywhere because she has been cut to shit from the barbed wire. She's bleeding from her face, neck, arms, and she's losing a lot of blood. She is airlifted to St. Vincent Hospital. She gets a trach and over 1,100 stitches.
Oh, my God.
She spends a week in the ICU. This is like crazy. Yeah. She had to learn to walk again. She had to learn to talk again. And it's months before. I don't like these stunt. I don't know where the hell I am.
I did that last week.
It's months before she can engage in physical activity or even carry a backpack to school.
Oh, I bet. Imagine all that.
Yes. Her face is swollen. She's scarred. She has facial nerve damage. She couldn't smile for 6 months, but she eventually makes a full recovery. So before Laura goes anaphylactic, let me give you some ATV basics. As in every activity we tell you, in every fucking summer series, wear a goddamn helmet.
Wear a fucking helmet.
Wear a helmet, wear a helmet, wear a helmet. And never, ever, ever ride an ATV on a paved road. If it's a one-passenger ATV, keep it a one-passenger ATV. Wear goggles, long sleeves, pants, but like you're riding a motorcycle, because if you get thrown into barbed wire, maybe it'll rip your clothes and not your skin. Never, ever on paved roads. Mm-hmm. Never while you're drinking or doing drugs.
Don't ride anything when you're drinking or doing drugs.
That goes for jet skis, boats, motorcycles. Anything. I could go
anything. You're driving. With a motor. Whatever you can't do behind the wheel, you can't do behind any wheel.
Don't fucking bike ride drunk, okay? Mm-hmm. Right, they come in various sizes as well, so make sure you're riding one that is the right size for you. If you have a young rider, make sure you are supervising your young rider. They have seatbelts. Wear the goddamn seatbelt. And take a safety course before you get on an ATV.
Yeah.
That, my friends,
ATV
is my ATVs.
Very good.
Laura, see if you can take us through before you die.
Let's see if I can breathe.
Okay. I'm going to see her literally in 5 minutes. Her eyes have become like... It looks like she got in a fight.
I'm dying.
She literally looks like she got in a fight. I'm like,
I'm glad you're...
She's covered in a sunburn.
I'm glad
she's going anaphylactic on me.
This is my life.
She is the summer series in one episode. We should make a t-shirt with you right now.
Yeah. Everyone always says, you're really allergic. I'm like, no, I really
I know you're really allergic.
Allergies.
I just have never seen them come on quite so quick.
Oh, yeah.
When you've been sitting in the same spot for like an hour, all of a sudden, boom, done.
I'll be fine. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't breathe. Like, it's just...
You're like, my body's done.
Yep.
All right, so let's get this through before she dies on us.
Dune buggies.
Dune buggies.
So dune buggies are extreme off-roading vehicles capable of taking on any terrain. Dune buggy.
Are they the ones with like the little cage on them?
Yes.
And the big front?
Yes. Okay. So
like dune Mad Max?
Yeah. Dune buggying has been around since the 1950s. People would strip their cars down to their frames and put on large off-roading tires. Then people started converting VW Beetles into buggies. So the VW...
Oh, the Beetles, yeah.
The little...
Yeah. I'm thinking the bus. I'm thinking the bus.
The punch bug.
Yeah.
Can't punch me back.
How do you make a bus into that?
No, so they would take the little VW Beetles and turn them into buggies because they were small.
Yeah, it'd be cute.
The frame was small. So it was like a huge thing, the Beetles. After that, companies started selling custom kits consisting of fiberglass or aluminum frames and an engine. Their popularity peaked in the late 1960s, but it is still popular in coastal areas of the U.S. and other like sandy, hilly areas. So you go to like Aruba, you can go do
anywhere but the East Coast. Right? We don't. Maybe down south in the East Coast, but New England, you're not going to see this shit ever.
They are called sandrails by enthusiasts.
Clearly, we're not.
But they're the same thing.
I bet you it'd be a lot of fucking fun to ride one of those.
Oh yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's a bare bones vehicle designed to traverse sand dunes and beaches that a normal car cannot. So that's what it is. They look like oversized go-karts.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Today's dune buggies can either be a simple buggy made of seats, a frame, a roll cage, and an exposed engine, or it can be $100,000 vehicle with windows, roofs, lights, automatic
Who's
transmission.
got that kind of money?
Yeah, and seating for 4 or more. I don't know, people who have houses on the beach
Why
in
do I need
California.
a fancy car for the beach?
I don't know.
I'm not
People are
driving
insane.
on the beach.
I know. So dune buggies sound like a great time, right? You're cruising up and down the hills. There's fresh air all around you. It's beautiful weather out. You have the sun, the sky, the sea. But if you make one wrong turn,
Oh, yeah.
you can roll sideways down a dune, get swept away with the tide, or sink in quicksand. They are serious.
Quicksand?
Yeah, there's quicksand.
Oh, we gotta fucking cover
I
quicksand.
know we do.
Really? I'm fascinated by quicksand.
Me too. It freaks me out.
I'm fascinated by it.
So here are some safety tips. Always take your foot off the gas before making a turn in a dune buggy.
Same on ice.
A turn at a high speed may lead to a rollover. Accelerate only out of corners. So if you're coming out of a corner, then accelerate. Stay conscious of the surroundings. Treat the dune buggy with respect. It is fun, but it is a heavy
How do you
machine.
do, Mr. Doombag?
Yeah.
It's very nice to meet you. I love your doors.
Use a safety belt. It is the difference between life and death.
I believe it.
Um,
Because you're gonna get rolled.
Right. Wear a safety helmet that fits properly, not one that's way too big or one that's way too small. It has to fit your head to work right. If it is too loose, it could fly off when you roll. Wear protective goggles to stop dirt and sand from getting in your eyes, so then you can't see, and then you are going to hit something. Maintain a safe distance between other buggies, because they could roll, and you could be up close to that.
Because I'm assuming there are dune buggy races, and they make a track.
They were saying, like, in one of the articles, like, any other vehicle that has ever been made, people will find a way to race it. So there's dune buggy races. Drop your tire pressure to between 5 and 20 psi, depending on the softness of the sand, so you can, quote unquote, float instead of dig into the sand. Keep your eyes out for other drivers, especially dirt bikes and ATVs, because they will also be driving on these roads, hills. Most wreck areas will require you to mount a 10-foot trail flag on your front bumper. But even if it's not required, you should do it anyways. People are flying around. There's
Follow
sand.
the rules. Just follow the rules.
There's hill. It's all hills and dunes. You can't see what's coming off the other side. So put your flag. Keep a flag on. When going up a hill, gain some speed. Drive straight without turning, and hold the pace until you reach the top. Don't fuck around. Don't turn your steering wheel. You drive straight up a hill. You don't turn. If you have to back down a dune, never turn sideways, or you will roll. So again, if you're backing down a dune,
straight.
Keep it straight. Do not turn your tires. When descending steep dunes, put it in four-wheel drive, low, or second gear, and avoid applying too much of the brake because it can cause a slide. Then if you slide, you're going to roll. If you lose traction while driving across sand, steer side to side using small, rapid movements. So this is the only time you would turn your wheel side to side, is if you don't have any traction.
Okay.
And you're like driving
traction
straight.
by doing that. Yeah.
So you're trying to get some traction.
Because you're driving on sand. That's going to be brutal.
Yeah. And you have to do that while you're applying the gas. So it's tricky. You can't just get into it and not know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a shovel with you to fill in trenches if you get stuck. Because if you get your thing stuck, you got to shovel it out, put sand back in the holes, and then try to get out again.
Yeah, I'm good.
Remember, sand moves. All sand moves. Dunes are constantly changing. Even if you were there last weekend,
it's going to be different.
It's different the next time you go back. You have to know what's on the other side of the dune. Walk the course to get a feel for it. If you're not going to know it, it is going to change. You have to see what it is, which hill goes where, what's happening on the other sides. Stay in the ruts of other vehicles when it's possible, because at least you know they went up and down. Always carry safety and recovery gear, and never go alone. Have another vehicle with you that can pull you out, or they can go get help if something happens. Rollovers are the greatest cause of injury. Research shows that the dune buggy can cause severe injuries requiring the amputation of upper extremities, hands, lower extremities, and feet. A lot of the hand and upper extremity injuries occur when people grab the roll bar when they're rolling.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get their hands get crushed under the roll. You don't grab the roll bar.
No.
It's not. That's not what it's there for. It's just to stop you.
Then make sure you don't snap your neck when you roll.
Right. So then these are some stories. Jake Cabral was dirt biking on sand dunes in Imperial County with his family, like they do every Thanksgiving. So every Thanksgiving weekend, these people go out and they ride the sand dunes. People like stay there. It's like a whole thing. He was hit by a dune buggy that was driven by a woman. She flees the scene.
Oh.
She takes off. He was airlifted to Loma Linda University Medical Center with a lacerated spleen, 7 fractures of his lower spine, 4 broken ribs, and a broken pelvis. After several months, he does make a full recovery.
Did they ever find her?
No.
Bitch.
Yep. In 2012, a couple was killed in Cozumel when the dune buggy they were in with 3 other people slammed into a metal guardrail. The other riders were only slightly injured. So I don't know if they didn't have a safety belt on or what, but they die when it hits a guardrail. An 11-year-old was driving a dune buggy. 11-year-old. Lost control.
Because they don't look at them like
did
real cars.
Did you just hear the directions I gave?
Yeah.
How the hell was it?
I couldn't remember. I'm like, I'm all set.
No.
Yeah. I'm never going to ride a dune buggy.
Yeah. She loses control of it and she falls out. She broke both of her knees and her thumb. She also had deep lacerations on her face and body due to the broken glass. There must have been a windshield on hers.
I picture them open, like
a lot of them are, but she might have been one of those, like I said, like you can customize them.
Those $100,000 fancy ones.
She was airlifted to a hospital in Arizona where she had surgery for her knees and was in casts up to her thighs for 6 weeks. After rehab and physical therapy for 2 months, she was able to walk again.
Wow.
A 19-year-old was driving a dune buggy on a road, lost control, and slid into the path of a truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He had a passenger. They were seriously injured, but taken to a hospital and lived. In November 2017, Amy Owens from England was on vacation in Dubai. Now, Dubai has a lot of sand, right?
Yeah, it's the Sahara Desert out there.
It's the Sahara Desert. So you can go on these dune buggy. You're in a different country.
Rules
are different.
Yeah, do you want to go to the hospital in Dubai? Seriously?
Right. So she decides she's going on a desert safari excursion, which I would do too, right? Mm-hmm. She was picked up at her hotel and driven to Al Badair Desert to ride a dune buggy in the red dunes. It's like a tourist
I think it'd be cool as shit.
Yeah, it would be great. She was not given a helmet. She was not given protective clothing. She was not given shoes.
Shoes?
Well, she was wearing flip-flops. They didn't say to her, you should wear shoes,
sneakers,
you
or
should do
anything
that.
like.
She did take it upon herself to put on her sneakers. She must have had them with her, but like they didn't say, oh yeah, you shouldn't wear those. That's not a good.
Is she driving the dune buggy?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was with a friend, but she was driving the dune buggy. The only directions given to her were not to bother with the gear stick and just use the stop and go pedals. So just use the brake and gas. Don't worry about the gear, what gear you're in.
Like I said, all those directions are just.
She's then told to follow a guide who was on a quad bike. So he's on a 4-wheeler, an ATV. She's supposed to follow him. At some point, the dunes become really dangerously steep. And she's like, I can't handle these. I can't do it. I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
So they tell her, follow this path in the sand and it will bring you back.
The last thing I want to do is not follow a guide in the fucking
right.
desert.
So I don't know if there was other people out there or what, but they said just follow those trails back, whatever. The sand beneath the buggy started to give way and the buggy flipped, rolled down the dune, slammed into the bottom, and burst into flames. She could not get the seatbelt off right away. She's like suspended in the buggy upside down. It's on fire. She can't get the seatbelt off. Once she does, she starts wandering around the fucking desert. That's 800 degrees.
And she's burnt.
On fire. Screaming. And no one's helping. No one's coming to help her. Eventually, someone comes to help her. I don't know if the person on the thing took off to get somebody, whatever. But eventually they do come and get her, put her in the back of a truck, and bring her to a hospital. She sustained burns to over half of her body.
Oh my God.
After 16 days in the hospital in Dubai, she's flown by private jet to England, where she's from. Her father came, got her, and brought her back. She's septic because of the poor hygiene at the hospital and the burns, and the lack of understanding there on how to treat severe burns. A year later, while still hospitalized, she learned she had been...
Yeah. She's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Shit.
She learned she had been tried and convicted of dangerous driving in Dubai without her ever being present. She got convicted of dangerous driving.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'm literally speechless.
Yeah. So her attorney tells her, don't go back there.
Ever.
Don't ever go back there. She says...
Because regardless, she was going to be convicted. It wouldn't have mattered.
It doesn't matter. Quote, I suffer from extreme fatigue and anxiety and require laser surgery to improve the flexibility of my skin grafts. Because when you burn, you have to have skin grafts and they scar and they contract. And it's a lifelong
It's awful.
Problem.
It's awful.
I have broken sleep. I usually wake up in pain, uncomfortable, overheated, or all three. She is suing Polaris Company, which is a U.S. company that made the buggy.
They make the ATVs too, and snowmobiles,
So
and jet skis.
I wouldn't use them. She sued because of various defects in the design and manufacturing of the buggy, including an unsafe seatbelt release system and a faulty fuel line. Polaris has already paid more than $1 million in damages in other cases after its vehicles have rolled over and caught fire. 11 more lawsuits are still pending. So don't get on a Polaris dune buggy. Amy married her boyfriend of 11 years and is not letting this experience stop her. She's living her life. She's going on.
That's quite a fucking story.
Yeah.
Mike was kind enough to find that email for us.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it since you're dying?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. You probably have heard that. If you've listened to every single episode, you'll have heard this email before. Yeah. But I just want to give her due props because she's the reason we wrote this particular episode. Ladies! Second time writing in. I absolutely love you two. I quote you guys so often now. Anytime I'm out, we're doing something, you've covered it. I don't know, guys. Laura and Nicole talked about this. I don't know if it's a good idea. I like to think we're on your shoulder.
We're saving lives.
I have a few things, so get comfy. This might be long. Maybe I should get to the part with just the dune buggies, because she does talk about other stuff here. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Next, I think you guys should cover sand dunes, sand buggies, quads, and dirt bikes. We didn't do dirt bikes. We could have done dirt bikes. We go out to the dunes in California 5 times during the winter, and the shit you see. This is another time where drinking and motor vehicle operation mix, and yeah, it's bad. I've seen accidents where people try to jump their side-by-sides, think an overpowered golf cart on steroids with a roll cage, and they end up face-planting it in the sand. We call those lawn darts. LOL, I've seen them roll down the side of the hill, hit each other. It's a mess. A couple of years ago, a little girl was playing on a sand hill by her camp and got run over by a sand rail. Well, for enthusiasts. She was 6 or so. She was fine, thankfully. I think just a broken leg or something. She was fine, just broken leg. Or something, because the sand is very forgiving, but it was scary. I was out there with my son and his friend watching them ride quads on a small hillside when my son, then 9, got his stuck at the top of the hill, because of course that's where it would happen. Mm-hmm. So I jump on the other kid's quad to go rescue Bean. I love that she calls her kid Bean. And it was softer than I expected. I stopped at the wrong angle, and the whole thing dumps me off. Hold on a second. I roll a bit and then look up to see the thing rolling towards me. Oh. Have you seen a cat go from standing still to jumping sideways halfway across the room? Yep. That was me. I was sure I was going to get crushed by this thing, but it missed me and rolled all the way down the hill. My dad then had to still go up and rescue my son. Oops. Out of the dunes we go to, there's a giant... there's a giant hill that everyone gathers at, day and night, and we take turns driving up, across, and down the thing. Many accidents happen there, and you see cars just cartwheeling down. I don't know how people are so nonchalant about it. And just see cars cartwheeling down the thing. Occasionally people die. It's tragic. I mean, she's so blasé, but people die. It's tragic. It's usually a result of people being stupid or drunk. True. Yeah. And it's so ominous at the end of the weekend as everyone is leaving to see a camp completely untouched and abandoned and know it's likely belongs to whoever was life-flighted out of there that weekend. That would be brutal. Yeah. The closest town to Dumont is Baker, California. I've been through Baker, California.
Nothing?
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's literally a one-street town. There's only a few gas stations, and it looks like murderous, but there's an icon over it, so I can't read what it says. In a murder motel. It did say murderous. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been there, and it's exactly, she described it. Because when you drive through California, horizontal, it ain't nothing. And then you hit LA, it's like, shit, Palm Springs, shit, hi, I'm LA. Yeah. All right. So if you're needing to be flown out, you're going to have a bit of a trip. Winter on the west is dune season. Winter on the east is winter. Yeah. Well, it's ski mobile It's season. Snow and ski season. It's dunes of a different kind. Yeah. It kicks off Halloween weekend. It would be the perfect time to do an episode on this stuff. Sorry, we're covering it for the summer episode. Yeah. Also, as I go back and re-listen to some old episodes, I just want to say thanks for ruining Rubber Duckies for me. You got to listen to that. That's a good one too, the Rubber Ducky episode. This comes 2 days after Grey Anatomy ruined Strawberries, so at least the weekend has a theme. Stay safe, ladies, Jess. Again, thanks for that email, because we were trying to figure out the summer series the other day, and we're like, what are we going to do? I'm like, we should cover ATVs, because we had I don't know if it was last summer or 2 summers ago, we had a lot of bad ATV accidents. We have a lot of ATV up here. And we're like, we should cover sand dunes. Remember that lady wrote in about the sand dunes?
Yeah.
So thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
You're getting your props again. All right, so that was ATVs. I don't know what we're doing next week. We have it all written down, so it's going to be a surprise to me every time we do it. Please be safe out there in the summer. Enjoy the weather, but be safe about it. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.